Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. This is episode 143 of my brand new Comics Haul series where I show you guys all the new books that I pick up at my LCS every week and I tell you what you need to know about every single issue. Gonna keep these videos going during the new year. I hope you guys had a good 2023, a good restful holiday and everything, but let's just get right into it here. I've got 6 issues in total, 4 from Marvel and a couple from some independent publishers. Some good releases this week. A lot of these publishers like to really come out the gate with some strong titles for the new year. So let's start off with Marvel Comics. This is probably the biggest release from them this week, but we've got Fall of the House of X #1. So this is just going to be a 5-issue miniseries, but it should be pretty directly tied to Rise of the Powers of 10, which is kind of the other bookmark title, or what should I say, bookend is what I'm looking for, right? To the whole Krakoan era. We had House of X and Powers of 10 at the beginning of it, so now they're kind of doing a play on those same titles for the end. Obviously, now that we don't have Jonathan Hickman, who really started all of this, so it's evolved a lot since then. I think it's been, I want to say, 4 or 5 years since the Krakoan era started, and Marvel's finally picked up that people might be getting a little bit tired of the X-Men being so on top of the world. I mean, honestly, I like the Krakoan era good enough. I stopped reading it for a while, for I want to say a year or two, and I just jumped back on board for Fall of X. There was definitely a lot to keep up with, but overall, I think it's been a really interesting chapter in the X-Men's ongoing story. I'm really curious to see how they do in the next era and who the main writer is going to be and all that. Artwork in here is looking good enough, but this is just supposed to be like the really actual ending to everything we've seen going on with Orchis having taken down the mutants, really got them to one of their lowest points in a long time where they're more of an enemy to society again. They're painted as these villains. So this is maybe their uprising, their way to defeat Orchis, because I doubt they're going to be sticking around in the new X-Men run. And we'll see about this. I'm probably going to do a review of this one, just a quick non-spoiler one, so look out for that. If you want my thoughts on the issue fully, I'll be posting that soon after this video. So we'll see about that. That's Fall of the House of X #1. Next up, though, another big release for fans of the series. We've got Vengeance of the Moon Knight #1. So this is a pretty shameless relaunch, honestly. They didn't need to relaunch the series. You can even barely read Vengeance of the, just looks like it's called Moon Knight. Really cool cover here, though. I think David Finch did this cover. And I'm looking forward to the new series. Number 30 was pretty crazy. I won't give away anything because I really think you got to read the full Moon Knight run. I just posted a top 10 comics of 2023 video. Moon Knight was my #1. And this is just the exact continuation of that already ongoing series that ended with number 30 last month. It's the same writer, same artist. Jed MacKay is continuing on writing, and hopefully this main artist, Alessandro Cappuccio, will be continuing on artwork into the new year for a long time. We've got a really big status quo change is what I'll say, and yeah, you definitely got to read this for yourself. One of my favorite ongoing series ever from Marvel for sure, and my favorite over the last few years. So looking forward to seeing what they do with this new era. I'm not really sure what this new form of Moon Knight is going to be, but I won't say much more than that. You got to read it yourself. Next up, though, another Marvel title. We've got Thanos. This is #2. Feels like that first issue came out a while ago. I feel like Marvel's been having maybe a few scheduling conflicts. It feels like there's been a lot of gaps in between first and second issues of series. This one I think is just supposed to be 4 issues, so I'm not expecting too much out of it, but honestly that first issue was intriguing enough, but maybe a little bit lackluster. We only actually got to see Thanos in the last couple pages of it, really wordy pages here. This is Christopher Cantwell writing this, who I think is actually great at writing villain solo series. He did a good job in that Doctor Doom series that happened a while back. People don't talk about that too much anymore. But yeah, he doesn't have as much to work with here, I guess, since it's only 4 issues. Hopefully we get some more actual Thanos action, but it had to do with like this new character that's introduced, some girl that seems to be like intertwined with Thanos' fate somehow, even though she's just working a regular job on Earth and seems to be a pretty normal person for the most part. We've also got this new version of the Illuminati involved in this. Artwork is good enough. I don't know why they're doing a new Thanos title if they don't really have big plans for him. For a while, he's a big deal in Thor, right? It seemed like he was being revived so that he could be part of the whole Black Winter thing, but now that that's down the toilet after Donny Cates isn't writing for Marvel anymore, I just don't know what their plans are for Thanos. But I'll stick with this series for now. Next up, though, we've got Doctor Strange, #11. Last one I got from Marvel. Good Alex Ross cover here. I just got done reading number 10, I think. I'm a little bit behind. We've got guest art on this issue, though, and it looks like it's just picking up the pieces from the big, 10-issue overarching story arc that kind of wrapped up last issue. This is another Jed MacKay title. This is also on my top 10 comics of the year video. I'm not sure exactly what place I put it in. I think it might have been 6 or 7. But yeah, great ongoing series. I think that he handles solo characters really well and does a format where each issue is kind of standalone in an interesting way. We just got out of this big story arc, though, where Doctor Strange had to fight this future version of himself, this warlord version of himself that was much more brutal and had less morals than the current Doctor Strange, so him kind of coming to terms with that, as well as dealing with his wife Clea and her new niece, I think it is, that was just born, or her sister, I guess, her half sister. Her mom had another kid. So yeah, I mean, I'm liking it. This is great. I don't know too much about like Doctor Strange history, and Jed MacKay really likes to get into past characters from like less known comics runs and stuff that really go deep into Marvel history. But he does a good job filling you in. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that series continues to be ongoing. Next up, though, I've got one from Boom Studios. This is probably my most anticipated issue in a long time. It's Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, number 11. So this one was actually at number 2 for me in my top 10 comics of last year. It's been a really good ongoing series. It's going to be 15 issues in total, with 3 5-issue story arcs that tell different stages of these two main characters' life. It's like a love story at the end of the world with Maceo and Mezzi, who are seen here in the cover. We've had kind of like flash forwards to this future version of them where they're really in the midst of the apocalypse and have like been, I guess, like hardened by their surroundings and everything. They haven't seen each other or known each other for a long time. And that's always, those future sequences have always been drawn by Nick Dragotta, who's a pretty cool artist that did that series Ghost Cage last year. It might have been a couple years ago now. That a lot of people were talking about, and now that we've actually gotten to the story arc that's all about the future, he's drawing the whole issue. So it's cool that Jason Aaron had an overarching plan for this series the whole time. When I was first reading those first like 5 issues and it started becoming one of my favorite series, I was hoping that it would go longer since it covers so much of these characters' lives, but it really is more like 3 story arcs that cover different time periods from them being kids all the way to old people like they are now. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this ends. It's the last 5 issues, and this is one of the biggest recommendations from me, so I'd definitely start from the beginning and try this one out. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, number 11. Lastly, though, I've got an issue from Image Comics. This one is Knights, number 4. I don't hear too many people talking about this one. I got the first issue for free. They were like giving out free copies at my LCS. I think there's some kind of incentive with the publisher, whoever funded giving out the first issue for free to try to get people interested in this series. And that first issue sold me, so I've been buying it since then. There's a lot going on in this series. It's set in Miami in some kind of like futuristic world where there's vampires and ghosts, that kind of thing. Definitely some extra terrestrial or like supernatural stuff going on. They're adding more and more elements to the series, but I just feel like the main cast of characters is pretty compelling. It's about this family with a vampire in it who's like the vampire of the town. I guess there's like one vampire per U.S. city. They're establishing a lot. Honestly, it's a little bit hard to follow sometimes, but just the character interactions and stuff I find pretty compelling, and I'm looking forward to seeing how long they're planning on going with this series. Hopefully they're selling enough copies to continue. Just a cool world that they're building so far. So that's Knights number 4. Those were the 6 issues I picked up for the first week of the year, though. Let me know what you guys got down in the comment section below. Which comics are you looking forward to this year? Definitely going to look forward to Vengeance of Moon Knight, but I'll also read Fall of House of X pretty soon and do that review hopefully today. So look out for that one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.